For years, for decades really, being found online meant one thing. You had to climb a list of links. But what if I told you that entire game is changing, right under our feet? Today, we're diving into what it means to be visible when an AI is the one doing the finding. Just let that question sink in for a second. Think about it. Every strategy, every tool, pretty much everything we've done has been about getting to the top of that list. So what happens when the list just goes away? And this isn't some far-off futuristic idea. It is happening right now. The old rules of search, the game we all got so good at playing, well, they're fading fast, and something entirely new is taking its place. This slide right here, this is the whole story in one picture. On the left, you've got SEO, search engine optimization. We know this world, right? It's a game of keywords and backlinks, all to climb that ladder and be the #1 blue link. But on the right, that's the new world. AEO, answer engine optimization. And the goal here is completely different. It's not about being on a list, it's about being baked into the final answer. The focus just totally shifts, from keywords to concepts, from rankings to pure authority. And this is the critical part to understand. People aren't going to be sifting through 10 blue links anymore. They're just going to ask a question and get one single synthesized answer. And if your brand, your information isn't part of that synthesis, you're basically invisible. So if we want to become part of that single answer, we've got to figure out how the AI, well, how it thinks. And the absolute best way to do that is with a new metaphor. The AI is a researcher. Seriously, I want you to burn this into your brain. Stop thinking of it as a search engine. From now on, picture every large language model as a super smart, incredibly fast academic researcher. Just making that one mental flip changes your entire strategy. So, what does a good academic researcher do? They don't just grab the first thing they find. No way. Their job is to read everything on a topic, figure out which sources are credible, and then pull it all together into one coherent, well-sourced conclusion. That's exactly what the AI is doing, but it's doing it with the entire internet in like a second. And that right there, that defines our new mission. We're not trying to trick an algorithm with keywords anymore. We're trying to earn the trust of a researcher. The new goal is to become the primary source, the one study that the AI has to cite, because you're just that definitive. Okay, so to become that citable source, we need to see the web like an AI sees it. And here's a little spoiler for you. It doesn't see pages. It sees a giant graph of ideas. It's not looking at a tidy list of websites. No, it's looking at this, a knowledge graph, this sprawling, sometimes messy, interconnected web of concepts and all the relationships between them. This is its map of the internet. Now, the building blocks of this map are called entities. An entity isn't just a word, it's a whole concept. Your company is an entity. A specific product you sell is an entity. Your CEO is an entity. In that big graph, these are the dots, the nodes. And the lines connecting those dots, those are the relationships. For us, the most important ones are the inlinks. These are the connections that point to your entity. You know, in the old SEO world, we called them backlinks, but honestly, that term feels a little outdated now. It's way more accurate to think of them as academic citations. Which brings us to this absolutely crucial concept, entity authority. This is your brand's reputation in the eyes of the AI. It's your street cred. Just like a famous scientific paper gets cited by hundreds of other important papers, an entity's authority goes up based on who is citing it. Citations from other big authoritative entities build your reputation. And the AI is smart. It doesn't just count these citations, it looks for patterns. It starts to see these little neighborhoods, these clusters of expertise where all the authoritative players are connected and referencing each other. It figures, hey, if all the experts in this field are pointing to this one source, that source must be a pretty big deal. So, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do we become that source? How do we build up that entity authority and become the absolute go-to reference in our space for that AI researcher? Well, we can actually just borrow the playbook straight from academia. What makes a source citable? It's credible, and it shows its work by citing its own sources. It gives unique, verifiable information. We're talking data, not just opinions. It gets referenced over and over by other big names in the field. And it's really clear who wrote it and why they're an expert. You have to prove you know your stuff. Now, here's the really cool part. We don't just have to publish great stuff and hope that the AI researcher stumbles upon it. A whole new set of tools is showing up that lets us talk directly to these models to structure our info in the exact way they like to read it. Let's quickly look at this new AEO toolkit. First, you've got something called LLMs.txt. Think of it like a welcome mat and a set of instructions you leave for the AI researcher. Then there are things like smart product cards, which are just a fancy way of saying you're organizing your product info so an AI can understand it perfectly. And finally, you have whole new services popping up, like Siteworthy or trainingdata.pr, that are built specifically to help you build and prove your entity's authority. All right, let's pull all this together. What does winning actually look like in this new era of AI-powered discovery? It really comes down to a complete shift in mindset. First, stop thinking about creating content. Start thinking about providing evidence. Your job now is to give the AI verifiable facts. Second, your metrics have to change. Forget obsessing about rank. Start measuring your influence, how often you're cited. And finally, you have to be proactive. You have to actively manage how these AIs see your brand, using these new tools to control that representation. This is what it all comes down to, the number one. But not number one on a list of competitors. The goal now is to be an essential, indispensable part of the one, single, trusted answer. So as this huge shift from search to synthesis picks up speed, the question you have to ask is pretty simple. In this new world of AI answers, is your brand just going to be part of the question, or are you going to become a fundamental part of the answer?